Now back to the presidential transition. Donald Trump has lashed out again at President Obama, tweeting moments ago, "Doing my best to disregard the many inflammatory president statements and roadblocks. Thought it was going to be a smooth transition. Not." This latest attack comes as Trump announced 2 more cabinet appointments, including tapping cybersecurity expert Thomas Bossert to be his Homeland Security and Counterterrorism advisor. Jerry Seib, the Wall Street Journal's Washington bureau chief, is with us now. Jerry, we've seen some structural changes now for the new Trump administration, an elevation in the Homeland Security advisor position more similar to the Bush administration. What do you make of some of these changes?
Well, you know, a couple of things. One thing you can see here is that a power is kind of moving into the Trump White House as opposed to in these cabinet agencies where we've seen a lot of attention focused in recent weeks. But you have a whole series of issues, cybersecurity, Middle East peace, climate change, deregulation. There are people being put in place in the Trump White House very near the president who may have more power on those issues than the cabinet officers further away from the White House. And secondly, I think it's a message of change. You know, you have, for example, somebody on Middle East peace who's really quite probably going to take quite a different position than the traditional U.S. position on things like Israeli settlements on the West Bank, or whether the U.S. embassy ought to be moved, even whether there ought to be a 2-state solution within a Palestinian state. So I think you're seeing a consolidation of power near Donald Trump, and certainly some signs of change.
One of those people, Jason Greenblatt, it's his pick to handle international negotiations in the West Wing. Will that open up new concerns about conflicts of interest given his longtime role as Trump's attorney at his own company? You
know, I think that you're going to see those concerns about conflicts pop up all over the place. And it's going to be, I suspect, a recurring feature of the Trump administration, frankly. And I just don't think that they, in the Trump transition, take that as a serious problem. I think they recognize that or see that as a part of life when you elect a president who's got the kind of business empire that Donald Trump has, and you can't avoid it, and so don't obsess about it too much. It'll be interesting to see what Donald Trump himself does to disassociate himself from his business empire as a person, as the president, and president-elect now, president-to-be. We haven't heard that yet. There was going to be this press conference in mid-December. It was put off. I still think there's going to have to be some kind of a statement from Donald Trump himself about what his plan is before January 20th, which is Inauguration Day.
You have to wonder if his first press conference may come on Twitter at this rate and what we're seeing there.
It may have already, actually.
Yeah, that's true. We've got reports right now that the Obama administration is developing responses to Russia's alleged hacking during the election, also deciding what elements to make public. Yeah. Then you've got Thomas Bossert, who is obviously the Homeland Security Counterterrorism advisor pick for Donald Trump. What message does that send, because he has such expertise in cyber terrorism?
Well, I think it tells you that while Donald Trump may be busy dismissing the idea that Russian hackers interfered with the U.S. election, he knows that the next president, him in this case, or anybody who was occupying that position in 2017, was going to have to take cybersecurity extremely seriously, more seriously than anybody has in the past. And I think this appointment is certainly a sign that that's where we're headed. I think that's going to be widely applauded because that is a reality. I think one of the premier threats the country faces now is a cyber threat. It takes lots of different forms. We've seen that already. And it requires probably some coordination at the very top of the government. That's what you're going to get. That's what the Bossert pick says to you.
Nothing new here. Your paper's been reporting that Trump could face some challenges with the cabinet members. Divergent views on issues. Russia, climate change are some of them, divergent from his views. How might all of that unfold?
You know, it's going to be interesting because you do have in Donald Trump a business leader who people say likes to hear different views from people.
Right.
Here's the argument, makes a decision at the end, often makes a decision without the people who've been arguing different sides of a decision even realize has been made. And that may be the style of decision making here. It is going to produce some confusion, I think, and potential for chaos, I'd say. If you have, for example, several cabinet members who say the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal with Asia, is a good idea, and a president who said it was a terrible idea. Is there going to be a debate about that, or do people simply fold up and follow the statements of Donald Trump candidate? Do those candidate statements get now relitigated in a Trump administration on, you know, climate change, on TPP, on issues like the ethanol mandate, which he supported in the Iowa caucuses, but now has an EPA chief who said it's a terrible idea? How does that happen? Do those get reconsidered, or do people simply fall in line?
Yeah, if there is discussion and debate, that can be good, but if it's not listened to, as you said, it goes to the other side. Jerry Seib from the Wall Street Journal, we certainly appreciate the time.
Happy to be with you.